the movies are coming back. I get it, the reopening trade. However, AMC is trading miles higher, 3 times where it was before the pandemic. There is no way people are going to go back to the movies enough to make this valuation make any sense.
Well, Steph, you just used the term blockbuster, and this company was going the way of blockbuster pre-pandemic. In 2019, they did nearly $5.5 billion in revenues, and they still lost $112 million. That was pre-pandemic. So here we are, the stock was priced to go bankrupt last year, became one of these meme stocks, this Reddit crew. They looked at this thing and they thought they could rip it. And listen, we know this, that there will be better sources of productive capital, right? So right now you're just seeing a lot of traders. This is not investors buying the stock right here. It's kind of wrapped up into a lot of the investor trends that we've seen over the last year, where you have people forced at home. They have good access to tools and information. They have stimulus money, and they're finding things to play with. It's like playing a video game on your iPhone right now.
Okay, but do they have to be, quote unquote, real investors, Josh? Right? We could say this isn't smart money. This doesn't make sense fundamentally, but it's legal. And to any of those people who bought AMC last year, they're saying, I'm up 3,000%, Steph. Who are you calling the fool?
That's one of the most interesting aspects of this, Stephanie. I'm really glad that you started off with that. First of all, as I've said many times.
Do you have Baby Yoda behind you, Josh?
I do, but that's not actually his name, and it's a little bit offensive. His name is Grogu. Steph, as I've said before, Gen Xers starting off as investors in 1998, 1999 were playing all the same games. It's not like this generation of new investors is doing something wrong. We all discover the markets through the gateway drug of gambling, and then many of us become serious, and some of us don't. But I don't think that anyone has the moral high ground to look down on somebody that just made 3,000% in the stock. And you can say, oh, they're just doing things because that's what's on Reddit. Yahoo Finance was the same thing 20 years ago. So I think that there is this thing that Dan mentioned, people sitting at home, not enough to do, the gamification inside of the apps. In the end, I don't think that most people who are involved in AMC are thinking about it in terms of an investment. I don't think they're saying, oh, it's a $30 billion market cap that makes sense because EBITDA is going to be this. Nobody cares about that. The question is, what are the next 30 points going to be, up or down? That's the game right now. And if you don't like it, here's the good news. This isn't in the Dow 30. You don't have to play it. You can just watch along like Dan and I are and enjoy yourself.
Then are there any victims here if this doesn't work out? All of these meme stocks, they're not going to work out well because we know there's a huge disconnect between where they're trading and fundamental value, Dan. But are there any victims every day if we're talking about the warning signs and these investors are saying, beat it, this works for me?
Yeah, it works for now. I mean, Josh made a really good point to use a reference from The Wire. The game's the same. It just got more fierce. I mean, that's just a fact of the matter here because the access to these tools, these easy on-ramps to what really is gambling and speculation right now. And I'm not looking down on it, but your question, Steph, is who gets hurt? Who are the bag holders? And we know who they are. They're the ones with the least amount of information. And we've seen this before. We could have had this conversation 4 months ago about GameStop. And we know that a lot of retail investors who did not have good access or good ways to think about how to deploy their capital long term, they got hurt. That stock went from 400 back down to 50. Now it's moving back up again.
But they chose to swim in the deep end of the pool. There are no victims here.
Thank you. These people are filming themselves taking the biggest risk they possibly can just for the likes. In many cases, it's advantageous for them to actually lose a lot of money for the cred that they're earning on message boards. This is a whole new world. If you follow a 22-year-old on TikTok into a trade with your life savings, at what point does society just have to sit back and say, yeah, you kind of did that to yourself? This is very different from other pump and dump scams where you have somebody who knows what's going on tricking everybody else. In this scenario, people are literally celebrating how ignorant they are. They're calling themselves apes and other words that I can't say on MSNBC, and they are joyfully doing things that fly in the face of every single shred of conventional wisdom about how to invest. And sometimes they're actually making money as a result of flouting those conventions. And so you can't really say there's a lot of victims here who think they're doing conservative things. Everybody knows what they're doing and they're enjoying themselves.